The Terran Stellar Academy stood like a shining crystal on the surface of Luna 2, Earth's second moon colony. Its tall silver towers caught the soft white light and spread it across the smooth training fields. Every corner of the academy buzzed with energy. Young humans came here with big dreams, dreams of flying starships, dreams of discovering peaceful worlds, and dreams of showing other species that humanity had learned to grow. In the middle of this busy place walked a young girl named Cadet Mira Solon. She moved quietly through the halls, almost like she was part of the soft white walls. Her uniform was clean but plain. Her boots made no loud sound. Her dark hair was tied simply, and her eyes always seemed calm. Most cadets talked loudly about their training results. They compared scores and joked about practice missions. Mira did not join them. She smiled politely when someone greeted her, but she did not speak much. To others, she looked shy or maybe unsure. Some cadets thought she needed more confidence. Others simply forgot she was there. But Mira did not mind. Silence was comfortable for her. She learned by observing and understanding, not by showing off. When she walked into the main hall, she stepped aside so a group of excited students could pass. "Did you see today's visitor list?" one cadet said loudly. "The Djarin Coalition is arriving soon." "Really?" another said. "I heard they want to study how humans train." Mira continued walking. She knew the visitors were important. The Djarin were known for their calm behavior and sharp minds. They respected order and structure. They also believed humans were still unpredictable and emotional. The Academy wanted to prove that humans were growing into a responsible spacefaring species. As Mira entered the first training room of the day, she saw the rest of her squad sitting in their seats. Their instructor, Commander Venn, stood at the front with a holographic screen. "Mira, good morning," he said with a small nod. "Good morning, sir," she replied softly, taking her seat. Commander Venn looked around the room. "Cadets, today we review flight stability protocols. The Djarin observers will arrive tomorrow, and the Academy wants our demonstration to be perfect." Everyone sat up straighter. Mira opened her digital notebook and began reviewing the diagrams. Unlike others, she did not rush. She studied every chart carefully, making sure she understood each stabilizer function. When the practice simulation began, her squad took turns at the control station. Some were smooth, some made small mistakes, but all of them tried their best. When Mira's turn came, a few cadets whispered, "She's too slow. She always takes her time. She won't impress the Djarin." Mira ignored the whispering. She stepped up to the control station, adjusted the seat height, and placed her hands on the smooth metal controls. The simulator activated, showing a simple flight path around a training asteroid. Most cadets flew fast and tried risky turns. Mira did the opposite. She flew slow, steady, and smooth. Her movements had no shake. Her turns were perfect arcs. Her course line stayed stable from beginning to end. Commander Venn watched her carefully. He did not say anything until she finished. "Well done, Cadet Solon," he said. "Very controlled." Mira nodded once and returned to her seat. Even though she performed better than many cadets, she received no admiration. Mira was used to this. Her skill did not shine in big ways. It was quiet, steady, and easy to miss. After morning training, the Academy entered its busiest hour. Cadets filled the cafeteria, machines served warm meals, tables filled quickly with groups of laughing students. Mira collected her tray and moved to an empty table near the window. She enjoyed this small, peaceful moment. She liked watching the sky outside, the soft ring of Saturn far in the distance, the slow sparkle of starships leaving the station, and the gentle glow of nearby colonies. As she ate, she noticed two officers walking into the cafeteria. They wore dark uniforms with silver stripes. Earth Command's upper division. Their eyes scanned the room until they found her. Mira slowly put down her fork. The officers approached her table. One was tall, with sharp eyes and a strong posture. The other looked older, calm, and careful with his steps. The tall officer spoke first. "Cadet Mira Solon." "Yes, sir," she said politely. "You will report to testing room 7 at 18 hours." Mira nodded. She did not ask questions. She already knew what the meeting was about. The officers walked away and disappeared into the crowd. Across the room, some cadets whispered again. "Why her?" "Testing room 7 is for high-clearance sessions." "She isn't special. She's too quiet." Mira finished her meal without reacting. She knew people misunderstood her. She also knew they would continue misunderstanding her, and that was fine. The rest of the day passed through physical training, navigation exercises, and strategy classes. Mira listened, learned, and took careful notes. She always understood the lesson quickly, but she kept her head low. When evening arrived, she walked to testing room 7. The hallway outside was empty. The lights were dimmer here. Only high-clearance personnel used these rooms. When she reached the door, it opened automatically. Inside stood Captain Arvin, the senior officer responsible for Project Sentinel. Captain Arvin was tall, with kind but serious eyes. His uniform was a darker shade than most officers. Only a few people in the academy ever saw him in person. "Mira," he said softly. "Thank you for coming." Mira nodded. "How may I assist, sir?" He smiled slightly. "Always direct." "Good." The door closed behind her. The room was simple. Just a round table, a glowing device on its surface, and a large screen showing space data. Captain Arvin gestured for her to sit. "We have been monitoring a cosmic anomaly for several months," he said. "It is moving toward human space faster than predicted." Mira looked at the screen. A soft white wave glowed on the display. "What kind of anomaly?" she asked. "A stable energy formation," he replied. "Non-harmful but powerful. Our scientists say it is old, very old, possibly created by an ancient civilization." Mira continued watching the wave. Something about it felt familiar, though she could not explain why. Captain Arvin placed a small device on the table. It looked like a round crystal with a soft pulse inside. "This device interacts with the anomaly's frequency," he said. "We tested it with many cadets and officers. Only one person showed a full match." Mira knew what he was going to say before he said it. "You," he continued, "your mind patterns align with the frequency in a way we have never seen." Mira stayed quiet for a moment. "Why me?" she asked softly. "Because you are calm when others are loud," he said. "You observe when others rush. Your mind does not fight the signal. It settles with it." Mira looked down at her hands. She had always thought her quiet nature made her less interesting. She never imagined it made her unique. Captain Arvin slid the glowing device toward her. "Touch it." Mira hesitated only a second. Then she placed her hand on the smooth surface. The room filled with a soft light. The device responded instantly, glowing brighter and brighter. The light was not hot. It was gentle, like warm sunlight. Mira felt a soft sensation, as if the universe whispered her name. Captain Arvin watched with careful eyes. "The anomaly recognizes you. It is reaching out to you." Mira lifted her hand. The light slowly faded. She looked at the device with steady eyes. She did not speak, but she understood something clearly. Her life at the academy was about to change. Captain Arvin stood. "Tomorrow, the Jaren arrive. You must continue acting like a normal cadet. No one can know your role yet." Mira nodded. She rose from her seat and gave a small, respectful bow. "Good night, Captain." "Good night, Mira. And remember, you are more important than you think." Mira walked out of the room and into the quiet hallway. The stars outside the window shone softly. She paused for a moment. pressed her hand gently against the glass, and breathed slowly. She whispered a quiet phrase, one only the device far behind her was designed to understand. The device blinked in response. Something deep in space stirred, and the quiet cadet walked back toward the academy dorms, carrying a secret bigger than anyone around her could imagine. Morning light spread softly across the academy dome, turning the silver floor panels into smooth mirrors. Cadets hurried through the halls, preparing for the most important day of the week, the arrival of the Djarin Coalition observers. Every squad polished their uniforms, checked their tools, and repeated training steps under their breath. But Mira Solon moved calmly, just as she always did. She tied her hair neatly, adjusted her simple cadet jacket, and stepped out of her dorm room without rushing. She looked like every other cadet, except her eyes held a quiet focus that few noticed. As she walked toward the main hall, she felt the memory of last night's meeting echo inside her. The glowing device, the soft light, the way it seemed to understand her. Captain Arvin's words repeated in her mind. "You are more important than you think." But Mira did not feel important. She felt like herself, quiet, observant, steady. She breathed slowly and tried to clear her thoughts. Her mission for now was simple. Act normal. When she reached the meeting area, cadets were already lined up in perfect rows. Commander Venn paced slowly in front of them. "Remember," he said, "the Djarin value calm discipline. Do not rush. Do not speak out of turn. Show them that humans can act with peace and focus." Mira could feel some cadets glancing at her. They often joked that she was calm enough for 10 people. Today, her quiet nature might actually help the group. A low hum filled the air. The academy lights shifted to blue, the signal for an official arrival. Then the Djarin delegation entered. They walked gracefully, their movements smooth and slow, like water flowing across a stone. Their skin held a soft, silver tint. Their eyes were long and clear, shaped like gentle leaves. Their clothing shimmered with faint patterns that moved like wind. The lead observer, Envoy Siren, looked around with a thoughtful expression. The Djarin had studied many species, but humans were still surprising to them. They believed humanity had great potential, but needed guidance. Their eyes scanned the line of cadets. When they reached Mira, they paused for a moment. Something about her calm presence caught their attention. But after a single careful look, they moved on. They saw only a quiet cadet, not someone special. Commander Venn led the visitors toward the first training demonstration, navigation drills. Cadets hurried to their stations, the room filled with glowing holograms of star maps and moving routes. Mira took her usual place at the right-hand console. Her squad leader, Jalen, stood beside her. "Try not to be too quiet today, Mira," Jalen whispered nervously. "We need everyone to show strong performance." "I will do my best," she said softly. As the simulation began, star paths lit up across the room. Each cadet had to track moving flight lines and predict safe routes. The Djarin watched closely, their expressions smooth and unreadable. Everything went well until the system flickered. A sharp, soft hum filled the room. The holograms blinked, lines shifted randomly, and routes twisted into broken shapes. Some cadets gasped. Others tried to recenter their screens. "System malfunction," Commander Venn said calmly. "Remain steady." The Djarin stepped forward, speaking softly to one another. Their own devices did not respond. Even their advanced tools could not control the disruption. But Mira felt something different. A soft pulse, a gentle rhythm, a pattern inside the chaos. She placed her fingertips lightly on the console. Her screen responded, not with perfect clarity, but with a faint, stable path. It felt almost like the anomaly's signal from the night before, but weaker. She breathed slowly, and the lines on her display began to settle. Mira, Jalen whispered. How are you doing that? I am just following the calm parts of the pattern, she said. They are there if you listen. She shared the stabilized pattern with her squad. Slowly, the simulation corrected itself. Other cadets followed Mira's adjustments. Even the Jaren noticed. Envoy Saren leaned toward Commander Van. Impressive. Most cadets reacted emotionally. This one stays very centered. Commander Van glanced at Mira. She is steady, always has been. Mira finished the simulation without hesitation. When the system returned to normal, the instructors paused the demonstration to reset the memory logs. While everyone took a short break, Mira stood quietly near the wall. She did not want attention. But she felt a soft warmth inside her mind. A faint whisper, almost like the anomaly was calling her again. Jalen approached her. Mira, that was amazing. How did you figure it out so fast? I just saw the quiet path, she said gently. Everything has one. Jalen blinked. I guess that makes sense. Before he could ask more, Commander Ven called everyone back. The rest of the day moved from one demonstration to another. Mira participated with the same calm flow she always had. She helped her team without drawing attention. She followed every instruction, gave clean performances, and maintained steady focus. But the Jaren kept watching her more closely. During break, Envoy Saren approached Commander Ven. This cadet, Saren said. She works with a level of peace we rarely see in young humans. Commander Ven nodded. She is quiet and focused, but she is not one who chases recognition. A rare combination, Saren replied. Mira overheard none of this. She continued reviewing her notes, unaware that her calm nature was starting to shine in ways no one expected. Later that evening, after the demonstrations ended, Mira walked toward the back gardens of the academy. Few cadets visited this place because it was quiet and simple. Small trees, soft lights, and a clear view of the stars. Mira sat on a bench, folded her hands on her lap, and looked at the sky. The quiet hum she felt earlier was stronger now. She closed her eyes and listened. The sound was soft, like a slow heartbeat across space. It was not frightening. It was peaceful. It called her gently, as if asking her to understand something important. You feel it again, don't you? Mira opened her eyes. Captain Arvin stood nearby, his hands behind his back. Yes, she whispered. It feels closer today. Captain Arvin sat on the other end of the bench. The anomaly has increased its frequency. Jaren ships sensed the shift this morning. They do not know what it means. Mira looked at him. Do we know? We have theories, he said softly, but none are confirmed. What we do know is that the anomaly responds strongest to you. Mira lowered her gaze. I am not special, sir. You are, he said gently. Special does not always mean loud or powerful. Sometimes it means steady. Sometimes it means patient. Your mind listens where others push. She thought about that. She had never seen her calm nature as something valuable. It was just how she was. Captain Arvin placed a small device next to her. It was the same glowing sphere from last night. Touch it, he said. Mira touched the device. It lit up more strongly than before, filling the garden with a soft white glow. The captain watched carefully. See? The connection grows. The anomaly is reaching out. Mira removed her hand. The glow faded slowly. Will it be dangerous? She asked. No, he said. Not if we understand it correctly. The anomaly does not hurt. It guides. But if we cannot stabilize it, it could shift star routes for many systems. Travel could become confused for years. Mira nodded slowly. Why can I understand it? She asked. We do not know yet, Captain Arvin answered. But we will find out together. Mira looked back at the sky. The stars seemed to shimmer softly. almost like they were dancing with the anomaly's rhythm. Captain Arvin stood. "For now, continue your normal training. Be calm. Be yourself." Mira nodded. As the captain walked away, she stayed on the bench a little longer. The night was soft, and the quiet hum filled the air again. She closed her eyes. The anomaly was not frightening. It felt like a gentle, ancient presence, something that had existed long before humans learned to walk among the stars. It did not call her like a weapon. It called her like a bridge. And Mira Solin, the quiet cadet no one noticed, felt that her real journey was just beginning. The next morning, the Academy Dome felt strangely different. The halls were the same bright silver. The cadets walked in the same neat lines, and the Djarin observers moved with their usual calm, graceful steps. But in the air, there was something new, something Mira Solin felt before she even opened her eyes. It was the pulse, a soft, steady rhythm, not loud, not sharp, just there, like the quiet echo of a distant heartbeat across the stars. She sat up slowly on her bed, letting the gentle sound settle into her thoughts. It didn't come through her ears. It came through her mind like a soft wave moving through the center of her chest. The anomaly was growing closer. Mira got dressed with careful movements. She brushed her hair, tied it in a neat ribbon, and stepped outside her room. The hallway lights dimmed for morning cycle, casting gentle reflections on the floor. A few cadets whispered excitedly, "Did you feel that?" "I think something shook the outer dome." "Maybe it was a power surge." Most cadets thought it was a normal system glitch, but Mira knew it wasn't. The pulse inside her mind answered softly, as if it had heard the thoughts of the cadets and wanted to speak too. She made her way to the morning assembly. Commander Venn stood on the front platform, and the Djarin delegation stood beside him. Envoy Siren looked more serious than the day before. Commander Venn raised his voice. "Cadets, we detected a mild energy wave near the outer orbit. Our engineers are studying it, but there is no danger. Your training sessions will continue as scheduled." Most cadets relaxed. Mira did not. She could feel the truth humming quietly inside her mind. The anomaly had reached the outer edge of human space. After assembly, cadets hurried toward their assigned practice areas. Mira walked with her squad toward the communication training room. The room was large and filled with rows of consoles. The ceiling displayed a holographic star map to help cadets practice long-distance communication patterns. "Today we work with the Djarin," Jalen, her squad leader, said. "This is a joint task. Please, everyone, be conscious and respectful." Their task was simple: send navigation messages to Djarin receivers across different simulation points. But as they powered the room, the lights flickered softly, then stabilized. "Strange," Jalen murmured. Djarin engineers floated their hands across their tools. Everything seemed fine, but Mira could feel the pulse again. Stronger, closer. It was like the anomaly was breathing. The communication test began. Mira typed simple coordinates, smooth, clean digits. She did not rush. Her message reached the Djarin receiver almost instantly. Other cadets struggled with small delays. The Djarin worked calmly, but with mild confusion. Then it happened. The entire communication system blacked out. The lights stayed on, but every console screen went dark. The holographic star map flickered once, then disappeared completely. A thin blue line of light ran through the room like a soft ripple of energy. Cadets panicked. What happened? Is it another malfunction? Should we evacuate? Commander Venn raised his hands. "Stay calm. This is a simple outage. Engineers will fix it." But Mira knew it wasn't simple. The pulse inside her mind matched perfectly with the blue ripple. It was the same rhythm, the same gentle wave. The anomaly was not attacking. It was communicating. She took a deep breath and touched her console lightly. Her screen lit up, not fully, not brightly. Just a faint glow forming simple shapes. She saw a line, then a curve, then a soft spiral. It was almost like the anomaly was drawing something. Jalen stared. Mira, your screen turned on? How? I don't know, she answered softly. It just responds. Jarin engineers paused, noticing the glow from Mira's console. Envoy Siren walked forward with a slow, thoughtful step. What are you doing, Cadet? Siren asked. Nothing, Mira said honestly. I only touched the console. Then why does it respond only to you? Siren asked. Mira looked at the symbols forming on her screen. They were smooth, gentle shapes, circles and arcs. They did not look like any human language. She closed her eyes and listened to the pulse. The symbols matched the rhythm. It wants to guide, she whispered without thinking. Siren tilted her head. The anomaly? Mira opened her eyes. Yes. Cadets nearby fell silent. They stared at her, confused and amazed. Commander Venn stepped closer. Mira, how do you know? I can feel it, Mira said calmly. It is not harmful. It is searching for something, or someone. The Jarin whispered softly among themselves. Their expressions showed surprise, not fear. They respected calm minds, and Mira's calm was unusual even for them. Commander Venn exchanged a silent look with Envoy Siren. Something important was being understood between their species. Mira, Commander Venn said gently, can you restore the communication map? I can try. She placed both hands on the console and breathed slowly. The pulse inside her mind synchronized with the gentle glow. The screen brightened. The star map returned, slowly, like dawn rising over a quiet field. Lines formed. Shapes reappeared. Coordinates rebuilt themselves one by one. The entire room lit up with gentle white light. Gasps filled the room. Even Jarin engineers stepped back slightly. Mira, Jalen whispered, how? But Mira was not surprised. She felt the anomaly's guidance in every movement. It was like learning a song she had always known but never heard clearly until now. When the map fully restored, Mira stepped back. The glow faded from her console. Envoy Siren walked toward her. She studied Mira's calm expression with great interest. You are unusual, Siren said softly. Very unusual. Humans often describe your kind as loud and emotional, but you are as quiet as the Jarin. Yet your mind does what even our tools cannot. Mira looked down. I am just listening. To what? Siren asked. To the soft parts of the universe, she said quietly. They are always there. Most people rush and cannot hear them. Siren nodded slowly. A rare gift. The communication test resumed with normal functioning, but everyone kept glancing at Mira. Some with curiosity, some with disbelief, some with quiet respect. After the training session ended, the Academy called for a midday break. Cadets poured into the cafeteria, but Mira did not join them. She walked toward a quiet balcony overlooking the starfield outside. She stood there alone, watching the soft glow of the anomaly reflect in the distance like a silver arc across the sky. She placed her hands gently on the railing and closed her eyes. The pulse inside her mind felt stronger now, almost like a soft voice trying to speak through calm waves. A gentle wind moved across the balcony. Cadet Solon, a calm voice said. Mira opened her eyes. Envoy Siren stood behind her. May we speak privately? The envoy asked. Mira nodded. Siren stepped beside her and looked at the anomaly's faint glow. We Jarin study ancient energies. We have seen patterns, but never one that responds to a single mind so clearly. It does not respond to me because I am strong, Mira said. It responds because I do not force it. Siren looked at her with interest. Most beings try to control what they do not understand. I only listen, Mira said. Siren gave a small, rare smile. That is why it follows your rhythm. They both looked at the stars. "Mira," Saren said, "your quiet nature may be the key to something far greater than this academy." Mira did not feel proud or scared. She simply breathed slowly. "I do not know what I am meant to do," she said. "You will understand," Saren replied, "when the anomaly completes its arrival." Mira turned her head. "Arrival?" Saren nodded. "It is no longer just moving. It is aligning." Mira felt the pulse at that exact moment, sharp and clear, like the universe took a single deep breath. The anomaly flashed softly in the sky. Everything was becoming clearer. And Mira Solin, the quiet cadet no one noticed for years, felt the universe calling her louder than ever. The morning of the test arrived quietly, but the calm air around the academy felt strange to Mira. It was like the walls knew something important was coming. She stood near the transport gates, wearing the simple cadet uniform and holding a small bag with only her basic tools. Nothing about her appearance suggested she was someone special. Nothing suggested she carried a secret even she did not fully understand. Yet the station felt different today. Students walked quickly. Officers spoke quietly. Teachers exchanged looks as Mira passed them. She did not know why everyone seemed more alert, but she did not want to let it affect her. She kept walking, telling herself she was just another cadet scheduled for a routine large environment exam. She tried to calm her breathing. She reminded herself of Captain Reese's words from yesterday. "You are stronger than you think. Trust yourself." His voice replayed in her mind, and she held on to that calm energy. A small shuttle came into view. It was polished and smooth, almost too clean for a routine test. 2 Academy techs stood near the entrance, checking devices. When they noticed Mira, they straightened a little. One of them said, "Cadet Mira Hale? You're right on time." Mira nodded politely. "Yes, I'm ready." He smiled, but his smile was small, almost controlled. "Perfect. Please board the shuttle. The exam begins outside the station." Mira stepped inside. The interior was empty. No other students, no other seats prepared. It confused her for a moment. Usually the academy ran tests in groups to reduce cost and time. This single cadet setup felt unusual. She sat and waited silently as the shuttle door closed behind her. The engines hummed softly and the shuttle floated away from the station. Through the window, Mira watched the academy shrink into the distance while the shuttle moved toward a set of small, quiet moons nearby. They looked calm and harmless, with soft lights reflecting off their surfaces. The shuttle finally stopped near the surface of one moon, hovering in a gentle orbit. A soft tone sounded. A calm, artificial voice spoke. "Cadet Mira Hale, your task is simple. You will enter the test dome and complete the environmental problem-solving challenge. All actions will be observed for analysis." Mira frowned slightly. She had expected that. But then the voice continued. "You will complete this test alone." Her fingers stiffened around her bag. "Alone?" "Yes. This is a special evaluation." Mira stared at the small screen in front of her. There were no details, no explanations. Just a command. She took a deep breath. "It's fine," she whispered to herself. "You trained for this. You can do this." The shuttle lowered her to the surface and the door opened. The moment she stepped out, she saw the dome. It was a large, silver structure, half buried in the moon's surface. Its sides glowed with shifting pale lights, like energy was flowing under the metallic skin. It looked advanced. Far more advanced than anything the academy usually used for students. Mira walked toward it slowly. As she neared the entrance, a smooth metallic ring floated open, allowing her inside. The moment she stepped through, the world changed. The dome's interior transformed around her. A bright, wide valley appeared, filled with green hills and soft fog. The ground under her boots felt real. Soil, grass, small stones. A light breeze brushed against her face. The sound of leaves, the smell of fresh air, everything was so natural that she almost forgot she was inside a simulation dome. A simple screen appeared beside her. It displayed one sentence: "Solve the shifting terrain problem using only your knowledge and tools." That was it. No clear instructions, no hints. Mira sighed softly. "All right, let's begin." She walked forward, scanning the area. In HFY Academy training, shifting terrain could mean many things: moving structures, changing gravity pockets, disappearing paths, unstable ground, or sudden maze adjustments. She moved carefully, noticing every detail. The first hill ahead looked normal, but when she stepped near it, the ground shifted slightly under her boots, like the soil itself was alive and moving. She stepped back just in time as a thin crack spread across the surface. It was not dangerous, but it was clearly warning her to think before moving. "So, it reacts to my movements," she murmured. She kneeled and touched the soil. It felt warm, too warm. Her eyes narrowed. She looked around the valley again and noticed something subtle. Each area of the landscape had a faint glow of different colors. Blue faintly shone under the stable ground. Yellow pulsed under the slightly unstable areas. Red shimmered under places that looked calm, but were likely to change without warning. She smiled a little. "So, it's a pattern test." She remembered Captain Reese's lessons: observe more than you act. If she rushed, she would fail. She walked across the blue glow path. The terrain stayed steady. She followed the curve of the valley until she reached a river. Water flowed softly over small stones. The test wanted her to cross. She looked for the glow. The stones underwater shimmered with mixed colors: blue, yellow, red. Random. Meaning no safe pattern existed across the river. Mira frowned. So the river is the problem. She took out her small scanner tool. It was a basic model, nothing advanced. She aimed it at the water. The reading showed shifting density and unstable surfaces beneath the surface. The scanner beeped a simple warning: no stable crossing. She took a step back and studied the river again. It was wide, but not impossible. The current wasn't strong, but the ground below shifted constantly. She closed her eyes. There must be a logic. The dome never creates chaos without rules. She watched the water more closely. Then she noticed something. The large stones on both sides of the river were stable, glowing blue, meaning something was connecting them. She walked back and forth along the riverbank. After a minute of studying, she found it, a faint pattern in the ripples. The moving stones underwater were drifting in a repeating loop. Every 10 seconds, one safe stone aligned briefly with the next. "Timing," she whispered. "The rule is timing." She waited. She counted. She tested small steps. Finally, she timed her movements with the rhythm of the shifting stones. She stepped forward carefully, each step placed only when the stones aligned. Left, pause, right, wait, forward again. She crossed the river slowly but safely. When she reached the other side, the dome softened its lighting for a moment, like it acknowledged progress. Mira exhaled with relief. But the test was not finished. The valley shifted suddenly. Hills flattened. A new structure rose from the ground, a tall tower of glowing panels. The top of the tower emitted a soft light that pulsed rhythmically. A new sentence appeared on the screen beside her: "Calm the tower. Bring its light to balance." Mira walked toward it. The tower hummed with energy, sending soft waves of vibration through the ground. She touched one of the panels. It shifted instantly, changing color and tone. So it was a resonance puzzle. Find the correct pattern to stabilize the tower. She closed her eyes and listened. There were layers of tones inside the tower: high, low, mid, repeating in cycles. She tapped one panel lightly. The hum changed. She tapped another. The sound shifted again, slightly more peaceful. She smiled. It's a harmony test. She took her time, adjusting each panel, matching tones until the tower's hum softened into a gentle melody. When the last panel aligned, the entire tower brightened softly and then dissolved into the air. The valley disappeared. The dome went dark. Then a calm light surrounded her. A voice spoke, not the artificial one from earlier. This voice sounded older, stronger, almost respectful. Cadet Mira Hale, your performance exceeded expectations. Mira blinked. Did I pass? Silence for a moment. Then the voice replied, You did more than pass. You solved the dome's highest level environment with skill, patience, and complete control. You remained calm in uncertainty, and you revealed something rare. Mira tilted her head. Revealed what? You showed the markers of someone who can adapt beyond normal human limits. Your mind adjusted to every change without panic. Your sense of pattern and connection is extraordinary. Mira felt a strange pressure in her chest. Was this why everyone had been watching her? Had they expected this? The voice continued. This test was designed for individuals with special potential. It was not meant for a normal cadet. Mira's breath caught. Then the voice said something that made her heart freeze. You were not chosen for this test by accident. Humanity has been searching for you. And before she could speak, the dome doors slid open. Captain Reese was standing outside. He looked at her as if he had known this moment was coming all along. Mira stepped out of the dome slowly, her boots touching the moon's quiet surface again. The sunlight reflected gently across the gray plains, and the air around her felt lighter, almost softer, as if the whole place waited for her next move. Captain Reese stood only a few steps away. His posture was straight, his expression calm as always, but this time his eyes carried something new, something that felt almost like respect mixed with relief. Mira, he said, his voice steady. You did well. She swallowed softly. Her heart was beating faster than she wanted. Captain, what was that test? Why was it only for me? Captain Reese let out a slow breath before answering. Because it was never a normal test. It was something planned long before you even entered the academy. Mira felt her hands tighten slightly. But why me? I'm not special. I'm just someone who tries hard, nothing more. He shook his head gently. That is what many believed. But some people suspected you were more, and after watching your growth, they were sure. Mira frowned. Sure of what? That you carry something inside you that humanity has been waiting for. She stared at him, confused. The dome behind her hummed softly, like it agreed with his words. She felt the emotion rise in her chest. Confusion, worry, curiosity, all mixing into one. Captain Reese walked closer and rested a comforting hand on her shoulder. Mira, long ago, before you were born, humanity began a quiet project. They wanted to find individuals whose minds could understand complex patterns faster than advanced systems, people who did not break under pressure, people who did not panic when everything changed suddenly, people whose instincts worked like natural guides. Mira blinked. Why? Because humanity knew that one day they would need someone like that, he said softly. Someone who could stand between peace and danger, not through force, but through pure understanding. She hesitated. And you think that person is me? Reese smiled gently. I don't think it. I know it. Mira felt her breath catch in her throat. Before she could respond, another figure appeared near the shuttle. It was Commander Lyra, the high official from the academy who rarely spoke to cadets. She walked with calm confidence, her hands behind her back, her white uniform shining under the light. Cadet Mira Hale, she said, stopping in front of her, you have completed the dome's highest level challenge. Only a few in all human history have done that. Mira lowered her eyes slightly, unsure how to respond. Thank you, Commander. But I still don't understand what it means. Commander Lyra studied her quietly. It means your mind works in ways our systems cannot copy. The dome was built to test adaptability, vision, and emotional balance. You solved every part with calm thinking. You made decisions with patience. No fear controlled you. Mira looked up slowly. But I was afraid. Lyra's expression softened. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite fear. And that is what you did. Mira stayed silent, absorbing every word. Rhys stepped beside her. It is time she knows everything. The commander nodded. Very well. She gestured for Mira to walk with them toward a small observation platform at the moon's edge. The surface below was quiet and endless. From the platform, Mira could see the stars clearly, more stars than she had ever seen from the Academy windows. Commander Lyra pointed toward the dark space beyond. For years, humanity has searched for a special mind, a mind that can see connections where others see confusion, a mind that can understand shifting systems, unpredictable patterns, and unknown spaces. Mira listened, still unsure where all this was leading. Rhys continued, Mira, you have something unique. You can adapt instantly, remain calm, and understand the core of a problem faster than trained officers. Commander Lyra added, This is why we call it humanity's final weapon. It is not a weapon of harm or destruction. It is a protector, a thinker, a guide. Mira's eyes widened. A weapon? That doesn't hurt anyone? Lyra smiled warmly. Exactly. Humanity learned long ago that the strongest power is not in harming others, but in solving the problems others cannot. Captain Rhys nodded. Humans were often underestimated in the past. Many groups believed we were simple, unprepared, or unimportant. But again and again, humanity rose because of people like you, people who think differently. Mira felt something inside her shift. A mix of humility and disbelief filled her chest. But I never trained for something like this, she said softly. I'm still learning. I still make mistakes. Commander Lyra said gently, That is exactly why you are the right person. Someone who believes they are perfect cannot grow. But someone who keeps learning becomes unstoppable in a peaceful way. Mira didn't know what to say. Captain Rhys looked at her with calm pride. Mira, humanity wants you to join a special program, a program that guides new explorers, solves large-scale problems, and protects peace between distant worlds. Mira stepped back slightly. Me? But I thought I was just a cadet. Rhys smiled. You are, but you are also more. She took a deep breath. Her mind swirled. Responsibilities she had never imagined suddenly appeared in front of her. New paths opened. The future she thought she understood shifted. What if I'm not ready? She asked quietly. The commander answered gently, You do not have to be ready today. You only need to be willing to try. The rest, we will teach you. Mira looked down at her hands. They were small, simple, nothing special to look at. But she remembered how she had solved the shifting terrain, how she had calmed the tower, how she had survived the test calmly even without understanding its purpose. She lifted her head slowly. What will this program ask me to do? Rhys replied, You will train with the best thinkers and explorers. You will learn to guide missions, understand complex systems, and help humanity avoid large problems before they begin. Commander Lyra added, You will not be alone. You will work with a team. You will be supported, and everything you do will be for peace and understanding. Mira felt her heartbeat slow. Her fear softened into something lighter, something that felt almost like hope. What if I accept? She asked softly. Commander Lyra smiled. Then today becomes the start of a new chapter, a chapter where you begin your journey as the protector humanity has been waiting for. Mira looked at the stars once more. She imagined the countless worlds out there, the unknown paths, the mysteries waiting to be solved. She imagined herself stepping into that future, not as a scared cadet, but as someone strong, someone who could help others. Finally, she nodded. "I accept." Captain Reese exhaled with visible relief, a proud smile spreading on his face. "Good. I knew you would." Commander Lyra placed a gentle hand on Mira's shoulder. "Welcome, Mira Hale. From this moment forward, you begin your training as humanity's final weapon, a symbol of peace, wisdom, and hope." For the first time, Mira allowed herself to truly smile. "I won't disappoint you." Reese shook his head gently. "You never have." The commander stepped back. "A transport is waiting. Your new team wants to meet you." Mira turned toward the shuttle. The path ahead no longer felt confusing. It felt open, full of possibility and purpose. As she walked forward, the stars reflected softly in her eyes, and she knew deep in her heart that she was no longer just a cadet who tried her best. She was someone humanity believed in. She was someone who could light the way forward. She was Mira Hale, humanity's final weapon, shaped not by force, but by wisdom, calm strength, and a heart that refused to fear the unknown.